How is everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of the Four Compas. Again, it'll be four different compas this time. Gilbert is still out, but we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk a lot of Super Bowl 59 that had a lot of different elements to it. The Philadelphia Eagles blow out the Chiefs 40-22 at one point. I think it was 34-0. So definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to this game. There is one individual that is very excited about what happened yesterday. So we'll have him on. We have another compa on that we're very excited to bring back. And obviously, we will have Vic, the producer, on, and we will talk a little bit about what we did out in Nolans during the week, all the content that we got. So stay tuned and get excited. Now let's go with the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
That seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 sixth-round pick swap for a seventh-rounder. So
Freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to the Four Compas. Some of those people that you just saw in the intro, we saw at Radio Row in New Orleans. So definitely a lot to get to, but let us get the four individuals that will make up the three other individuals that will make up today's show. Let's bring our first one from Fox Sports, our main man, Eric D. Williams.
Step up, bring it. Yes, sir.
Up, Eric, how are you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm doing well. Good to see your smiling face there, Fernando.
It's been a while since we've seen each other, so definitely awesome to jump on here and talk football. Let us now get Vic, the producer, and see how he's doing.
We got it.
Vic, how are you doing?
Doing good. Good to be back. Got to enjoy the big game there, or I guess we can call it the Super Bowl. I know some places aren't allowed to say Super Bowl, so it's good to be here.
I know somebody who was very excited. I know everybody's waiting to see what his reaction is. Let's get him in here and see what he thought of the Super Bowl. Let's go! Chiefs squeeze him! Chiefs squeeze him! Where you at? Where you at?
All I heard all week, Eric Hilberto, shout out to him. He's not here right now, but I'll still slander him. I know this is a hard day for all of you in the national media. You're very sad and everything else. It's a hard day because Taylor Swift wasn't shown as many times. What? TT or Tay-Tay or whatever the fuck her name is sad all of a sudden. Oh no, she's not smiling and jumping, doing stupid handshakes with Brittany Mahomes and all these other losers up there in the press box. Are you okay? Because let me tell you something. I enjoyed every single damn minute of that Super Bowl. Seeing them get the shit kicked out of them was absolutely Christmas in February. Christmas in February. The only thing I would have wished, when Jalen Carter, two-hand punched him in the face, would have connected a little harder. That's all I was missing.
Eric, is that basically what you were expecting?
In terms of the result?
No, his reaction.
Oh no, this is definitely what I was expecting. Actually, it's a little understated.
Do you know what I was thinking? Brett, shout out to you because you had a great song suggestion. All I've been thinking about the whole time since yesterday was Travis Tritt's Great Day to Be Alive, baby. I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard. I don't plan to shave.
I got to give Dan credit because Dan was the one that called it. He's like, if the Eagles are going to win, it's going to be blowout, and they're going to do exactly what Tampa Bay did. So shout out to Dan for that one. Good journalism there.
What do I know? I'm unbiased. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
I'm unbiased. I got my merit badge over there. I'm unbiased. I don't know if you know that.
Eric, what were you expecting from this game?
I was expecting a blowout. I was expecting a Chiefs blowout, based on how the Eagles played against the Rams, to be honest. When, I thought the Rams should have won that game. If that game was played on a field where there wasn't snow, I think the Rams would have won, based on how they performed. And so to see the Eagles then, do that to the Chiefs, who I think the Chiefs are better than the Rams, was surprising. I just wondered, I did Mahomes and Kelsey just think they're going to win by showing up? I mean, they just didn't look like they came to play. It was shocking to see how bad they played, to be honest.
Can I tell you?
And then he shows up in a green suit, Mahomes, in an Eagles green suit. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, he's trolling. He knows they're gonna blow him out. And I'm like, ooh. Go ahead, Dan.
Speaking of that, I don't know what to tell you. This man was probably not listening to enough Kendrick. He was listening to Drake in the national media. He was, one of the followers of Jim Jones drinking the Kool-Aid. He thought he was, special, thinking I just got to show up and do my thing. Look at my no-look pass. My no-look pass is good. That always gets some plays on ESPN. I stick out my tongue like that, and I look super dope. Like, I think 100% you're right, Eric. And what's funny is, like, I posted a video of them walking into media night on Instagram, and someone had a really good comment that, I thought it was just me because I'm an asshole and I hate him. Bona fide hater. I'll say it right here. I'm unbiased, though, but I'm a hater. I'm unbiased, though. Don't forget. But the comment was like, these guys just look like, they don't care, or they have it in the bag, or they just reeked of arrogance. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think because of this result, that's almost what it felt like. Like, they just thought, we beat the 49ers twice. We're about to wrap it up with the Eagles twice. Like, I didn't think they didn't have any grit, didn't have any desire, didn't have anything like that. Like, besides the fact that they came out flat, but, mentally, you could tell the Eagles were hungry and they were really going to get after it. You could tell it stung them from everything they talked about all week. They were all locked in and zeroed in. And I don't know. I just felt like they thought it was just in the bag because they're the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, that's quite frankly what I thought they thought going probably into the game.
Vic, what did
it was the first time where go ahead.
Let Eric go.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah.
I was going to say real quick, it was the first time watching a team coached by Andy Reid that didn't look like they had any answers for what the team was doing defensively. And that's rare that you see that. I mean, Andy has 2 weeks to prepare for a defense. Usually he's going to have a couple, tricks in his bag that he can pull out in order to create explosive play. They just had nothing. And it wasn't like Fangio was doing anything exotic. I mean, it was just 4-man rush and playing 7. So you're like, I mean, your guys can't win. Is that really what it comes down to? Is you just didn't have enough juice on the perimeter in order to create explosive plays? They only ran the ball 3 times in the first half. I thought that was a bit weird for them offensively, to not try to run the football, because I do feel like you can run against the Eagles. I think teams throughout the year proved that. So it was just a really strange game to watch.
And real quick, I remember Dante was out there, Eric, by the way. He says hi. He read one of the pool reports on Thursday, and he was like, first of all, I'm surprised that they wrote this in the pool report, but he's like, that the Chiefs had thrown out of like a couple of plays that they had seen, it was mostly passing. So they thought they could pass on the Eagles. And I was surprised because I think they hadn't run the football they had ran the football particularly well. And I was just surprised. They're usually the ones that stick to what got them there. And here, they went completely away from what they did. But Vic, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's crazy how the page turn on the Chiefs, right? Like you talked about. Usually, one of the things you've been saying, Fernando, for the past couple of years is that other teams make the mistakes and then they fall for it, and then but one of the things that I thought that I took away from this was the fact that the Eagles, when you face them the first time, and we saw this with the Rams earlier in the season, is they completely dominated the Rams. When you saw them the second time, that's when you were able to make adjustments and be able to kind of prepare for that physicalness. And the Chiefs, I thought not having faced the Eagles this season was a big plus for the Eagles because they came out and they just, put their will on them and did not allow them. Next thing you know, they're up 24-0, and they're like, "What the hell just happened to us?" And I think that was a big thing too, was the fact that these two Super Bowl teams did not face each other during the regular season, and so that's one of the things that if you saw through the run here for the Chiefs is that they were able to face teams they saw earlier in the season in the AFC, and I think that was a big advantage for them. But in the Super Bowl, they took advantage. And the other thing, I mean, Vic Fangio was 0-8 against Mahomes. And like, as you said, Eric, the four-man, it was a four-man, and no blitz at all. And they just took advantage. They just took over this game, and it was over by the first half. And it was crazy to see because now, like, it's funny how the script has flipped now. Everybody was talking about how this was going to be Mahomes' coronation and he was going to be the GOAT. And then, like, now everybody's like, it's Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and now it's Mahomes. And so it's just crazy to me how that just happened.
I still think he's too high. You put him at number 3. I still think he's too high.
Dan would put John Elway ahead of him.
I'd put the son of Odin. No, I'm
just kidding.
I'd put someone else. I'd find somebody else. Don't worry.
So
put the ball down.
Another thing that was impressive, in my opinion, was they didn't they didn't go away from Saquon. Saquon wasn't working when it came to the runs. They found different ways to get him involved. They did a lot of different things. They were able to move the football consistently. I thought Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were the biggest.
Hey, shout out up here.
Dan, why don't you read it?
Okay, I don't have my seeing ones. So
okay, it was not a strange game. Eagles is not San Francisco. They adjusted. I knew Philly was ready for this rematch. No one should be surprised, Dan and Eric.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all.
But the thing also is that Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, 2 rookies, came in, and I remember when we spoke to them on Monday, they both said that they didn't fear this. They were like, yeah, the moment's huge, but Vic Fangio's prepared us for this. We're ready for this. Darius has prepared us. So they were ready for this moment, and Cooper made one of the biggest plays. And I remember at media night, I told 2 individuals, 2 of my good compas, Tyler Dragon and Nate Taylor, Cooper DeJean's going to pick off Mahomes. And they laughed at me, Eric. They laughed at me.
Are they laughing now, you think?
No, I texted Tyler Dragon, too. He's like, he just texted me back, shut the hell up. But
going back to what you were saying real quick, for all the computers and everything else that these people want to put in, if you look at the way the Eagles are built, that's caveman football. Besides the fact that, I'm not going to talk about Jalen. Jalen did what he needed to do, but that's the way God intended to play football. You dominate up front, and when you have a run game, did you see the touchdown deep to, I think it was Devonta, I can't remember who.
Devonta Smith, yeah.
They pulled in half of their defense just because they flashed the run to Saquon Barkley. That's what you want. That's how you want to build your team. You want to be able to run the football effectively. That way, when you do play action or you pass, like, you're less predictable. Go back to what Eric said, that they didn't run the football. When you don't do that, the defensive linemen just pin the ears back, and they know it's a pass rush coming, and they prepare their moves. They're ready to go. So you can't get one-dimensional. I don't care what the computers tell me. I don't care what the nerds tell me. The only place I'm inverting, a fourth of my cap is the offensive line and the front 7 on the defense. Everything else you can build after. You can draft after. But, what these Super Bowl winners show you is that the line of scrimmage is the most important place to invest money into.
Yeah, the most physical team usually wins. And I think 100%. Vic brought up a great point is the Chiefs are a finesse team. And so they hadn't really faced that physicality in the AFC, which is weird to say that because they played Buffalo and, the Ravens teams that we identify as being physical teams. But those are teams they face all the time. Philadelphia's offensive line is ridiculous.
Dogs.
I mean, and like Vic said, if you're facing that for the first time, I think it takes a while to like figure out how to attack, a big physical unit like that in terms of what they do on offense. And then the same thing on defense. It's not just their D tackles, it's their DNs. It's the whole front four. And the Chiefs had moved some guys around on offense, and their offensive line wasn't really physical to begin with. They're pretty good pass pro, but they don't have their left tackle, and they had to kick Tooney out there, and so they basically weakened themselves at two spots by doing that. And I just think the overall result was poor. And you can't have an offensive line like that protecting. Sorry, Dan, the best quarterback in the league.
You need to put down the bottle over there, dude.
He is still the best quarterback in the league. I know he didn't play like that on Sunday, but part of the reason was they couldn't protect him.
Oh, here we go. That was the other part. I can't wait for the excuses that are going to come out for this man. Because let me tell you something. Every time my boy takes a little stumble, we're ready to put him up on the cross. But God forbid some of these people. I heard today they were trying to tell me all of a sudden he was
your boy that has yet to win a playoff game.
Whoa. Take it easy. Take it easy. You want to talk about teams? Look what I had to deal with this whole year. I'm not even going to get into it. But look, we want to look about deficiencies. My boy was over here. He was like Pet Cemetery, reviving some of these fools' careers. They weren't ready.
Are you worried about the Chiefs moving forward, or do you feel like next year they'll just be back? Because the reason why I ask is because you look at some of the free agents that they have this year, and I have it right here.
Let them all go.
They have Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, Justin Reed, Charles Aminu, Marquise Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, extension candidates Trent McDuffie, Joe Tooney, George Karlaftis. So there's a lot of expensive players there, and they're not going to be able to keep them all. What do you think, Eric?
Oh no, I'm going to write about this tomorrow. I think what's going to happen with the Chiefs is what happened to the Niners last year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, I think they're going to take a step back.
So I mean, you're telling me I got someone who can win the AFC West.
The Raiders are going to be better with Pete there as their coach.
Please, Pete Carroll at quarterback. Pete Carroll at quarterback. They'll be better.
Pete will get a quarterback in there.
I agree. They
quarterback.
will be better.
They can't be worse. They can't be worse. They're gonna be a competent football.
Is Pete going to show up in a lowrider?
Based on Pete, he may make Pete. Pete's got some swag now.
How's his Raider chant? Is his Raider chant good or no?
No,
I get it. They're going to be better, but come on, my guy. They're not going to compete for the AFC West. I don't even think they'll compete for a wild card.
No, but what Eric's saying is that they're going to be able to compete.
The Chargers are going to be better.
Yes.
Broncos are going to be better.
The
division is going to be better. There's not going to be any gimmies in that division. The Chiefs are going to have to earn it. And then I think the blueprint for how to play them, you just saw it. The Eagles just put it out in front of you. This is how you beat them. So every team is going to do exactly what Vic Fangio did defensively to see if that works. So they're going to have an answer, and they're going to have to add pieces on offense and defense. They need a number one receiver. They need help up front, in terms of offensive line. Maybe they need help at running back. So I do feel like they're going to take a step back.
So the blueprint is you go get a white corner then also, because that was key this year.
that was a pretty big key. That was a key to the game.
A white slot defender, you mean?
I'm not worried. Yeah. I'm not worried. I beat all these people with nothing. You understand? If we're in a drag race, I beat him in Sir Jeffrey Miller's Miata, and they got Ferraris out here. Just wait till I get some upgrades, baby. It's gonna be good.
Speaking of that, Vic, just how good do you think the Eagles can be? Eagles have some notable free agents as well. They have. Yeah. They're going to lose a couple of free agents as well. Milton Williams is a big name. I saw a lot of Charger fans have him on their wish list, but that's going to be a hefty price.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm with Eric about what he said. I mean, look at the rest of the coaches around the AFC West. They're defensive minded guys. I know that Sean Payton is an offensive guy, but their bread and butter right now is that defense. They have the defensive player of the year on that team with the Broncos. So I'm with Eric. I'm with Eric. I mean, and then as we talked about, I think the Raiders are going to get better. How much better? Who knows? But Eric isn't saying they're going to win the division. It's just that division is tougher now, and they're going to build around, making sure that their defense, all three of those defenses are built to beat the Chiefs. In terms of the Eagles, I think Nick Sirianni, he's going to get that extension, right? We know that. The thing with him is he needs to make sure that his number one priority is he needs to keep Vic Fangio. As long as he can keep Vic Fangio, whatever he does with the offensive coordinator, he should be fine. But as long as he doesn't look Vic Fangio, I don't care who he loses, because look at the turnaround that they had over the offseason. And I know Howie Roseman's going to get the majority of the credit, but to me, what Vic Fangio did from what this defense looked like last year, where those linebackers look like crap, to what it looks like now, especially with that secondary, you need to make sure that Vic Fangio doesn't leave the organization.
My bad. Dan wanted me to show you this one, Eric.
Oh yeah, look at this, Eric. Look at this. Look what I got right here for you. Just wait till he pulls it up. I know it's going to bring a tear to your eye, Hilberto's eye, Nick Wright's eye, all you other people. Look at that. Hang that in the Louvre, baby. Hang that in the Louvre. That was, you have no idea the joy I had in this moment watching this. I was like,
that's pretty good Photoshop there, Daniel.
You see what happens, Eric, when they have to play on turf and evenly officiated game. Like, it's unbelievable to me. They get destroyed.
Only took you 26 minutes to bring up the officiating.
Well, that's all right. We got to warm up into it. I wasn't going to lead off with that, but it's just insane to me. And honestly, I was thinking about that. Here we go. I was thinking about this the other day. Yeah, I'll read it in a minute. Okay. Hold on. You can pull it up now. You already pulled it up.
Okay.
So let's pull it up.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good. Eagles are set for a few years. The cheese-eating bastard. Shout out to you, my guy. Eagles are set for a few years. That doesn't mean they will win it all, but they will be in the mix. That's what drinking water and Coke Zero gets. I had I was drinking 12 Diet Pepsis a day, just FYI. Uncle Jam, I think your comment's hilarious, by the way. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about. And we'll move on because I already forgot what I was talking about. Thank you to the cheese-eating bastard. He confused me. But, it's just I'm just going to go back to it and say it one more time. I enjoyed every single goddamn moment of that Super Bowl. That was so good to see.
We don't care about the Super Bowl. We want to hear about how much you enjoyed being on Bourbon Street and how you were able to survive.
Hold on. Dan, before we hear about that.
I saw a lot of things in the media about obviously what y'all gonna say now about the refs and us when there was a lot of touchy calls.
Dan.
These guys are crybabies, man. I get it. That was your one only chance probably at a Super Bowl. It is what it is. I don't want to hear from you. They were complaining about the unnecessary roughness. Dude, he totally takes out Saquon late. What are we even talking about? But you see what happens? The entitlement, Eric. They think they should win everything because they got Tay-Tay in the stands. It's unbelievable. We're good, dude. Go away. The dragon has been slayed. I haven't watched the postgame of a Super Bowl in 2 years. This is the first time I've seen it.
What was
Give Nick Sirianni and that whole team the Medal of Honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, everything. They saved America from another reign of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll tell you one thing, from what I've seen last night in the 2 losses, I don't even want to hear him brought up with Tom Brady's name ever again. He's not good enough to strap up his laces or smell his jock strap. He's nowhere near
Eric,
Tom Brady.
I almost got beat up on Thursday.
Wait, I leave and you almost get beat up. What happened?
Oh, it was hilarious. You'll love this. Yeah,
told you to stay out of the red light district now.
Oh, God.
Communication. Say what you mean what you say. Choose your words carefully, because the next word you speak could potentially be your last for the day. That being said,
oh, it was hilarious, dude. That one was really funny. That one.
They're wrestlers. So they like after we were done, they're like, thank you so much for being so like, I was like, oh dude, I'm a wrestling guy. Like I enjoyed all this shit. Like they were just shit talking me, giving me crap, telling me that they were going to hurt me. And I enjoyed every second of it.
Nice.
You know what's funny, Eric? Going back to what you were saying, how they're going to take a step back. Like that's honestly, besides the fact that obviously I've been praying for this for a while. You know, I saw the memes that like if you're enjoying, you must be sick if you're enjoying this demolition of the Chiefs. You know, hook up a oxygen tank to me because I'm sick as hell. I enjoy this, but you know, I think that was the first time, in all honesty, I've ever seen them like just with no emotion on the sideline. Like they look like they were almost forced to be there. You know what I mean? Like Travis Kelce to me looked like he had no interest being there, no grit, no fight. Like his eyes told me everything. And he looked like he was just ready to go on the Eras 2.0 tour. Like he just looked terrible, just body demeanor or body language and everything else. Like that was the first time I had seen that. And I'm like, you know, it reminded me of Iron Man 2, I think. You know, the guy says, he's telling Iron Man, if you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him. And I hope this is the damn turning point where these guys just fall off the face of the map. Get all these guys out of here. Have Andy Reid retire. Have Travis Kelce retire. Let's see if this little bastard can do some heavy lifting like my boy's been doing for the past 5-6 years.
Eric, you were asking about what it was like on Bourbon Street. So we met a couple of chaps from England.
Lads, good
and
lads.
One of them loved giving Dan shit. And here you go. You'll love this, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
But not to home player. Jalen Hurts is a running back, my guy. A running back with more Super Bowl finals than Herbert will ever get in his career.
I hope you could hear that. I don't know if it's just me, but Gareth, God, he killed me, dude. God, he killed me.
Dan stayed out till 4:30 in the morning on Friday night.
I wasn't even ready to go home, dude. I wanted to stay out longer with those guys. They were hilarious. Shout out to Sky, Freddie, Gareth. It was awesome to meet them. Love those guys. We already told them they better be in San Francisco, just like your ass better be, Eric. Don't leave us hanging. And you know what? I would love to ask one thing. Have you ever seen? Well, no, we're not going to bring her up, but you know, I would love to know what the National Writers Convention is going to look like when you go to it. I know it's going to be a day of mourning for all of you. You're all going to be wearing black. And you're going to just look Roger Goodell in the face and say, what happened? How did they lose? How did this happen?
I know not of this National Writers Convention that you speak of.
I know. You have to do handshakes and everything else. I get it. So
the Illuminati of national writers.
What happened? Just holding up your signs and everything else. You're going to be like, what's going on? Like Marvin Gaye says, what's going on?
Oh, no.
I hope they tear down the whole city. They deserve it. That was beautiful what they did.
Oh, this was in Philly. Okay.
Yeah.
Let them celebrate.
That's pretty cool.
Can you imagine how Dan would get if he won the Super Bowl?
I'm telling you one thing, dude. If the Chargers are there next year, you're going to have to take away my credit cards and everything else because I would want to buy a lot of stuff in that store.
Uh-oh.
I would go ballistic. You would have to pick me up from the county jail in San Francisco. It'd be amazing, dude. I'd just go crazy. I'd look for cheap fans.
How bad do you think John Mara feels right now?
I think he feels awful. Because it's not just this year. Like it's the next 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, twice a year. I mean, they just basically handed them a team that's capable of establishing a dynasty by allowing Saquon to go there. I mean, it's baffling that they would have been willing to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I personally, I understand what everyone says about that in the sense of it goes to a division rival, wins the Super Bowl, and you know, he's a high caliber player like we always thought. He was just on a crappy team. I don't think that changes the outcome for the Giants at all though. And now they're just paying a big contract to someone they can't feed, who's most likely hurt because they can't open up running lanes for him. I think the biggest problem, I don't know if you think this or not, is what they caught the GM and all them saying on the Hard Knocks. I think that's the bigger issue, honestly. Like, because I get he's good. Obviously, he's very good. But, I mean, he was in a magical unicorn rainbow situation. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
I don't think,
I'll say this. I'm not saying the Giants would have been a lot better, but they wouldn't have to watch the Eagles go win the Super Bowl with their
division
player.
rival.
That's a big deal. I would, why would you want to do that?
Yeah,
So,
because you helped them out. You pushed them.
Yeah, I'm speaking just from like having your rival. Here you go. I mean, we're going to give you our best player. Go win a Super Bowl, and we'll watch.
That's true.
And they didn't get caught saying that. Like, they knew they were being taped. Like,
well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
don't be idiots. Maybe don't say that. Like, I mean,
And then the other thing was, you remember the son was telling him to trade up for Jaden. And he's like, you only get one shot, and then all the memes came out. How is a snot-nosed 8th grader telling this fool good football advice and he doesn't take it?
Yeah. I think that's the biggest takeaway is the fact that they're still the coach and the GM that are still there. I'm surprised he didn't just rage fire him after what happened this year.
For real.
He kept him.
Go ahead. Yeah. I don't even know what they're going to do either. I don't think they're going to be on the up and out. Who do you think gets hired for New Orleans, by the way? Or are we moving into that or no?
It's Kellen Moore. It's going to be Kellen Moore, right?
I'm going to laugh if they fall for the okie doke and it just goes the other way. Kellen Moore, I don't know, dude. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I've seen that guy up close as an OC. Obviously, now he wins the Super Bowl because, again, rainbow situation with all these players. You put the son of Odin on that thing, they're winning by 60. Seriously, what was the greatest disappointment for me in that Super Bowl? That they let him score. I would have loved to have seen a goose egg. I wish they would have beat him 65-0 or something like that. That would have been beautiful.
I was expecting the lights to go out, Eric, at one point.
Yeah.
You know what I thought?
When it was 24-0.
Yeah. Oh, my God. The whole time I was thinking to myself, I know what's going to happen. I've seen this before. They're going to try and set this fool up with 31 or whatever to 0. They're going to, manufacture a comeback. And then he's better than Brady all of a sudden, and I'm going to be pissed. But thank God it didn't happen. Shout out to Nick Sirianni and those boys out there.
So can Sirianni repeat? Do you think they have what it takes?
He can. I just think it depends also because for now there's a lot of free agents, so that is a lot of things depending. But I think they've built a culture in the sense that, like, obviously you've seen some weirdo stuff on the sideline, but maybe that's just chalked up to everybody's very competitive. But I think they've built a culture where people kind of understand where it's like, hey, you're coming here to win. I don't know. I don't think they for whatever reason, they've made it work financially and everything else. And no one's been a real problem yet in that atmosphere. So, with Howie Roseman, I think coming off a Super Bowl, especially the NFC East is basically theirs unless they piss it away. So they have a path. They have a path to go back.
Washington looks okay.
Oh, why don't you ask for Al? What does he think about Jaden Daniels, you think, right now?
No. What I said came true. I said if Jalen Hurts would have been healthy in that second matchup, they would have blown him out. And what happened in the NFC Championship?
Do you know Ferrell found Jaden Daniels' doppelganger?
Did I?
Yeah, he works at ESPN, you said.
Oh, RG3.
Or he worked. I don't even know. I know he has some.
Well, because Gilbert was like, "Oh, he's gonna beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl." I'm like, "No, he's not." Like I don't know. I think it's good.
You think he'll be able to repeat his performance, Eric? I honestly think the Eagles are established. They have basically, obviously, again, depending on free agents, they have the depth, the players, a lot of rookies that are solid. The Zach Bond guy who was a special teamer and came up clutch. Shout out.
Yeah.
I think they're like, obviously, again, they got to work some, devil magic like the Chiefs do to get all these guys back. But I think they would be able to run away with it. At least, the division, I think they would be able to. I think they sweep the Giants and they sweep the Cowboys. They'll sweep. Yeah. Maybe they'll trade with the Commanders. But, I mean, you're already at, what is that? Matt's not my strong suit. Is that 6-1 right there? Or
5-1.
5-1 right there. So.
Eric, do you already have a bold prediction for next year's Super Bowl?
Oh, I like that. You see the blue?
I'm going Buffalo, Washington.
You are a scumbag. God forbid something good happens for me, huh? That's how we're going. Buffalo's not even going to get near this. I don't even want to hear the name.
I'm
Lamar
going with
Jackson.
the quarterback that actually wins playoff games. Josh Allen.
Win playoff games. Who did he beat? The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? I don't want to hear the name Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson ever again.
The guy that won the MVP award for
the MVP, you mean the popularity
Have you heard him?
contest? The popularity contest?
Eric, were you surprised that he won the Super Bowl? Or
How
that
many
he won
MVPs does Justin Herbert have? Just
what does that matter? It doesn't mean anything to me. MVP doesn't mean anything. They're giving it to Lamar twice. Who is that guy? Come on.
Eric, were you surprised that
he's won a couple playoff games, Lamar?
That Josh Allen got it?
God. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, I was
No. You're not going to throw that at me and then go away. That's not how this works. There's no way you can tell me if he was on that Ravens team drafted by them, he would have already won a Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now, he has had a lot of weapons, or he's had weapons. He's had offensive line. Same head coach who's, probably going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Cheese eating bastard versus Dan.
Oh my God, I'd kill him. I would kill him. There's no other way. But, get out of here. Lamar's had every opportunity, and no one talks about him pissing things away and not clutch. And
no, I mean,
trade him, and
they do. They do hold him accountable. That's one of the reasons he probably didn't win the MVP, because
I must never see it. I don't know.
He's been
Where do
awful
these guys
in
hide?
the postseason.
Where do these guys hide? I've never seen it.
But
Lamar definitely takes a lot of slander.
When do they vote for MVP? Is it right as soon as the season's over?
It's during the regular season, so it's before the postseason. So that wasn't about what happened in the postseason. It was already decided. And I was surprised that Josh won it. I mean, I think how does Lamar win first team All Pro, but
that was my favorite.
Win the MVP? It's like
I love
that doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're voting.
Yeah,
and it's the same voters, right? Eric,
yeah, it's the same voters.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. It doesn't mean anything. No one cares. The only MVP that matters, first off, okay, I know it's gonna be a shocker to everybody. Super Bowl MVP. That's the only one that matters. Okay, all this other
that one didn't even matter because it should have been Josh Sweat.
Yeah, I'm with Eric there too.
I
it should have been Josh Sweat.
Well, that's not a me thing. Obviously, it's a quarter. Well,
just said that's the only one that matters.
Well, it doesn't matter who wins it on your team as long as they win the damn thing. Whatever. I don't care. I don't know. I get a lot of hate because I keep it 100 or a buck, as the kids say, with Jalen Hurts and a lot of these guys. But
you do,
it is what it is. I don't care.
You're unbiased, Dan.
I'm unbiased.
Unbiased.
If the Chargers win the Super Bowl, give it to freaking Dicker the kicker. I don't care who wins it. Just win the damn thing. Like,
you're not a fan of his, huh, Dan?
No. I got a story about that guy. I was not happy.
Oh, guess who Dan got to see while he was out there?
Who?
His favorite person.
No.
Oh, don't tell me the boom.
That you introduced him to. Remember, Eric, a couple years ago?
Oh, my boy. Ryan Leaf.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk. I'm getting concerned. Oh my God. This is why I hate this fool. Green Bay versus Bills. The Chargers won't even make the playoffs. Got lucky this year. Yeah, you can kiss my ass. We'll make another bet on that one. Chargers won't make. See how much slander I get on this thing? It's crazy.
The Eagles are the Packers are going to be a trendy pick just because they're a young team.
They're trash. They're again a team run by computers and AI and all this other crap. They won't make it out of the first round, dude. Just like you saw this year. Same with the Rams and all these other cute picks. Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't mean to hit a touchy spot over here with our national media person over here. His teams. He loves him some Sean McVay. He loves him some Patrick Mahomes. It is what it is. I guess that happens at the convention storylines.
I have a couple questions for Eric, if you don't mind me asking, Fernando. You wrote a couple stories that I read that were really good. The first one I kind of wanted to ask you about was Cooper Kupp. What do you think? Where do you think Cooper Kupp ends up?
Yeah, I think Dallas Cowboys. The reason I say that is they just hired Junior Adams as their receivers coach, and he actually coached Cooper at Eastern Washington, and it was coached by Eric Yarber, I believe. I can't remember where Eric was at. Anyway, he has a good relationship with Coach Yarbs, and obviously knows Cooper from the time together in college. So I think that makes a lot of sense. A lot of times when you're looking for places guys end up, you're looking for relationships and where guys want to go, where they feel comfortable and they feel like they could kind of hit the ground running. So once he was hired by the Cowboys, I immediately thought, that would make sense. I also like him, with the Raiders. Pete likes bringing in guys like that can come in and help create culture, kind of be a guy that can lead in that position group. I know Pete has a lot of respect for Cooper as a player and as a person, and they're trying to get things going there. So he would be a person that would make a lot of sense, I think, for the Raiders.
Were you surprised that they made this decision now? I know that he's got a $7.5 million bonus due at March 17.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think they're probably going to have to cut him, and so they're seeing what they could get for him before they have to go ahead and release him before that roster, that bonus is due, at the start of free agency. So I think they're just throwing it out there to see if they could get a day 2, day 3 pick. Maybe have to eat some of the salary in order for him to move to another team. I think it's likely that they're just going to have to cut him. And I think the writing was on the wall once, Puka came in and just started balling out, because they do the same stuff. It's kind of like when they moved on from Robert Woods a few years earlier, because Cooper had that big season. And, Robert and Cooper are kind of similar in terms of their skill set. And so, that's the NFL. They're always looking to replace you with a cheaper player.
Oh, yeah.
What about
the last one was Deebo Samuel. He's also been granted a trade request.
Yep.
By the way, he looked heavy when we saw him out at Radio Row.
I'm sure he wants him to go to the Chiefs, another red team. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Debo looks like he might have been eating a little bit. He's a big boy. But Debo's still a good player. I like his game. But has to be the right situation. I like him in Washington because of the way that they play with Jaden and Jaden's ability to run the football. He could be a good complement in terms of his ability as a runner. Perhaps Miami. I don't know what Miami's cap situation is, but McDaniel's obviously familiar with him. So yeah, not great. So they'd have to move some salaries around and restructure to make that happen. But Debo trains there in South Florida in the offseason, knows Tyreek well and Jalen Waddle, and would do good in that system. So those two and maybe Houston would make some sense just because they have some injury issues at receiver. And Nick Caley is there, was with the Rams. So he could use Debo like the Rams use Puka. I think those three teams make sense.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait till Cooper goes to the Raiders, slower, older, no one can get him the football. And then Debo goes to Miami, where, again, no one can give him the football. The throwing Samoan doesn't know what to do out there. So,
what do you throw the ball 5 yards?
Oh, there you go. Intermediate. All it's going to be is just
all you got to do is get it to him on swing route.
Yeah.
What do you think about
don't let him go to the ground?
If the Jets cut Devontae Adams, where do you think he'd go?
Ooh, I have no idea about Devontae. That's a great question because obviously I don't think he's going back to Las Vegas.
No.
Maybe Green Bay. You think Green Bay would take him back?
No.
He said he wants to play in the West Coast, so a lot of people are pointing to either the Rams or the Chargers.
So that's what I was going to tell you. I think, and again, vet man, no prima donnas. You better be saying for he's a jolly good fellow or your ass is on the curb. But I don't think that's a bad move for the Chargers, really. A veteran who's established, Eric, all I need is a guy to catch the ball when he's fucking open, dude. Like, that's all I need. The bastard will do that. That's all I need. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Devontae has a lot more juice. That would be my concern. Just like your concern with Cooper.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he going to create separation?
I'll be honest with you. If they cut Coop, I wouldn't mind taking him either for vet man. Well, you know what? Who gets hurt less? That's the only thing that would be the difference maker. But
Devontae gets hurt less.
Like for a vet man, like
Devontae's not taking a vet man.
There's more. He's not going to get paid out at whatever he is right now. There's no way. He's on his fifth team. He's on his fifth team or whatever. He's not getting paid anywhere. But you know what I mean? I think there's more upside to downside because at least these guys can catch the ball. Now they start dropping the damn thing, then we're really going to have a problem. But I don't think it would be that bad of an issue. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's like because I'll tell you what I don't want them to do. I don't want them to overspend on a receiver, and then I'm going into the season with people who worked at Vaughn's 24 hours prior to training camp at the offensive line. You know what I mean? Like no No, what is it called when they put the stuff on the shelf? I already forgot what that is. I can't think of it. No. I was saying like the guys who put stuff on the shelf to like refill it. I forgot.
The stocking?
Stockbroker? No, that's not it.
No.
Whatever. Who cares? A stalker? I don't know. But then that doesn't sound right either. So, you know what I'm talking about. I need guys up front in the trenches who are dogs. Protect the son of Odin.
What about? Do you think Aaron plays next year?
Donald?
No.
Maybe. I mean, if he
that's hilarious. Where will the drugs tell Rodgers to play?
He should go to Minnesota.
That's hilarious. He should.
I like the Colts. I like the Colts. The Colts like bringing in old guys. Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers.
I think the Colts is a nightmare situation right now. I wouldn't touch that. I would not touch that.
I don't think Aaron's going to have many options.
Here's one. Yeah, I like what Brett says here.
Yeah,
the Steelers, the Vikings. I would even say maybe the Raiders.
I heard
maybe the Raiders.
I don't know if it was Fernando or Gilbert brought up the Titans.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be a bad one? Oh, I would love to be in Nashville. I'll tell you that.
The Titans make sense because I think he has a house in Nashville. And then I believe their president of football operations was in Green Bay for 10 years. So a lot of people have been connecting the dots of Aaron, ending up in Nashville. A lot of people live in Nashville.
Oh, I would too. It's a beautiful place.
I think Matt Hasselbeck lives in Nashville.
Oh, especially for what they got paid. I would buy so much property out there. 100%.
I know your affinity for Nashville.
It's beautiful. Have you been?
I have been.
It's the most glorious place I've ever seen. It's like heaven. That's what I think.
It's okay.
Heaven looks like.
It's okay.
What are you going to put over?
a lot of places.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's bad.
Name me one.
Well, you just went there.
Oh, for God's sake, no! New Orleans isn't better than Nashville.
New Orleans was fun.
No.
Definitely would take New Orleans over Nashville.
Dude, New Orleans, low key. I mean,
I can tell you why.
Good people.
So we were
Miami over
take
Nashville.
Miami over Nashville. Yes.
No thanks, dude. No.
I would too. There's
alligators
over Nashville.
Who?
Atlanta.
Who? Oh, well, we'll find out in 2 years from now, and then I'll come back to you. But I'm not. No, Nashville so far for me, number one. Get me out of here.
Austin, I think Austin is a little bit better. No, they're around the same.
Austin's better. And who?
Austin's strong. Austin's strong. I like Austin.
I have family out there, so it makes sense.
So there was one night where we got back at 11 o'clock at night and to the Airbnb, and the Uber driver, I guess, didn't see a homeless guy walking in the street. He opened.
No, he didn't care.
Door.
He didn't care. There's no way he didn't see that guy. He just didn't give a shit. He didn't care.
He opens Dan's door, and the homeless guy standing right in front of his face, and he just keeps on. He looks at Dan and keeps on walking.
0 stars that man received for that. He put my safety in jeopardy. You know, it was the other thing too. There was a lot of freaks for me in Bourbon Street. I wasn't a fan of. I felt like when I went out in Nashville, everybody was relatively fine,
everybody kept on coming out to Dan on Friday, and like they would like shake his hand, but it's
so
probably
weird.
It was probably
I wasn't. Oh, maybe I was wearing the hat, actually. Maybe I was.
Yeah,
but like there was one guy who patted me hard on the back. I turn around and look at him and I'm like, you good? I thought I was going to have to fight him. Then he just, I'm good. Yeah, whatever. Then like he's walking and he hooks a right. He throws his beads at my legs. And I'm like, man, he's so lucky I don't want to go to prison tonight. Like, that's crazy. There was a lot of freaks out there, dude. It was just weird. Our Uber driver was cool, though. I know. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens. But it was cool. Our Uber driver was cool. I liked them. So our Uber driver to the airport played us some of his music that he made. He's a singer. That was pretty cool. Shout out G Money or G Lover. I forgot which one.
G Lover. On our way to so Friday night on our way to Bourbon Street, it was about a 30-minute Uber drive. And the Uber driver was like he was telling Adam, Dan, and I, he's like, man, my Saints suck. Look at who they have at quarterback. You can put a high school player out there, and he can play better than Derek Carr. And
started calling him a used car and everything else. It was hilarious.
Car taking strays, huh?
Yeah.
And then we're driving. Adam rolls down the window, and it's Rex Ryan smoking a cigar, walking with his wife. I'm like, Rex, what's up, dude? And then he's like, what up, man? He just kept on
hilarious. Dude, that guy lost a lot of weight, man. I thought he was really going to try and be a head coach again. He looked like he was trying to get fit.
Yeah, there you go. Good for us.
Eric, any final thoughts on the Super Bowl?
No, I think we talked about it all, hit all the main topics. I just feel like, Philly dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage up front.
Say it again. Say it again.
The Chiefs didn't show up. Didn't look disinterested.
Yes.
It's probably it might be Reed's worst coaching performance in a big moment. I think you have to say that. You definitely have to say that it's worse. It's Patrick's worst performance as a player.
Beautiful.
I mean, he was awful.
You think that was worse than Tampa Bay?
Yes, I think that was bad. It was awful. I mean, it was almost unwatchable.
And they want to compare him to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. Did you see the stat, by the way? Brady's undefeated. Mahomes has never won in a game playing against Brady or a game with Brady commentating. I was like, well, let's have him commentate every Chiefs Super Bowl then. Let's keep it going.
The 2 times that the Eagles have won the Super Bowl, he was a part of it. He was the opposing quarterback, and then he was in the boot.
Yeah, like Nick Foles tweeted out. Yeah. One thing I was going to tell you, by the way, here's a little real quick, and then we'll let you get out of here. I tried to do, the job that you and Fernando do, Eric. I was trying to ask Nick Sirianni a question. I was going to ask him at the podium. Oh, not a lot of people have beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs. Have you reached out to Zach Taylor, Bill Belichick, and Bruce Arians? But I'm not going to lie, dude. Like, when I was trying to get his attention to ask, everything I ate earlier just came up to my throat, and I'm like, fuck it, I can't do this. Like, I'm not about to try and puke as I ask this man a question. So, kudos to you guys, man. A lot of people think it's easy. No, it's not. I could not, I was getting ready to either puke or shit my pants, and I was like, I'm not doing either today, dude. That would not have been good. So kudos to you guys, man.
Got to be about it.
Eric, before we head out, I just wanted to show you one video, the funniest video from Radio Row. It's not ours, but look at what Coach Prime did.
So today I wanted to rep the Eagles. So I
see.
You know what I mean? I go look at colors and.
What's your favorite color?
Well, lately I've been into dark chocolate. So that's been my thing.
Isn't he married?
It's been the flavor of my season, let me tell you.
I understand.
That's why he has glasses. You can't see his eyes where they at.
I mean, red is my favorite, but I mean, everything.
Yeah, she said dark.
I like dark chocolate. Even in my search, you'll see dark chocolate.
That is, I feel like.
Chocolate.
I love it.
My God. Coach Prime.
Oh, recruiting.
Yes,
I know.
Always recruiting.
He's always recruiting. Eric, what do you got what are you working on? Like what stories should people out there be looking for that you've been working on or that you've already written?
Yeah, I'm working on this week a story of the top 10 bold predictions for the upcoming season. So check that out. Maybe some things that we discuss will make it onto the list.
Oh, we're gonna have an episode of just going through your top 10, bold predictions for next year. Let me tell you something. My boys better be in there in a positive way, or you're gonna hear from me. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna find this article.
They might be in there, but they might not be in there the way that you want them.
Oh, you better not. You better not betray me. Is that what happens? When's the convention, by the way? Where is it?
It's what happens when you don't pay up on your pizza. That's what happens.
Oh. Hey, I've been waiting on you, guy. I was busy. You chose not to come out to New Orleans. You love it so much you want to slander my great Nashville, but
I'm not slandering Nashville. I just, not as high as others. That's all I said. I like Nashville. Nashville's a good time.
No thanks.
Eric, I know it's late for you, but are you gonna watch Luka Doncic's debut?
It is late. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Might have to DVR that mode.
Hey,
I'll tell you one thing.
They're putting that game on ESPN for a reason.
Yeah. I know. I'll tell you one thing. If the Super Bowl's in Nashville, Eric, your ass better be there, and we're going out every night. Every night we're going out, dude.
Nashville's it's not a big enough city to have the Super Bowl.
What are you talking about? It's the best place on the planet.
Dr. Florio,
they're getting the stadium, right?
Yeah,
they are getting the stadium.
Dr. Florio said that the cities that should be in the rotation for Super Bowls are Vegas,
New
What did he say?
Orleans.
Vegas, New Orleans, Miami,
Miami.
and then Tennessee when they get the new state. I'm like, I guess.
Let's go to Tennessee, baby.
Yeah,
we'll
he was.
have a blast.
Someone asked him about SoFi in LA, and he's like, I don't consider it because you have to drive an hour to the whole city. And I'm like,
I guess. I don't know. Dude, by the way, we saw Dr. Florio on our flight. Seems like a weird dude. I don't know. Between him and his co-host over there who can't say scattered to west right tight, F left, 372 I stick Z spot. You know, it's just interesting to me. It's crazy.
Eric, thank you so much. Oh, Eric, Matthew Stafford. Is he staying or is he going?
Matthew Stafford will be a Los Angeles Ram in 2020.
He's hopeful. They'll talk about it at the convention. I can't wait. Just make sure the convention's not at the Denver airport. Supposedly weird things happen there.
Thank you. It's going to be in Nashville, so you'll be there.
Oh, no! Don't you dare take that manure to the great state of Tennessee. How dare you?
Thank you so much to Eric D. Williams for jumping on with us. We appreciate it, Eric. Guys, just real quick, we will be off for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. Again, thank you to Eric for jumping on with us. We'll be taking a break for about 2 weeks. We'll come back, and I think Tyler Dragon will be the one that jumps on with us. We'll ask him everything about free agency, what he saw at the combine, all that stuff. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all that. Hey, everybody, don't forget to go. We had over 41 interviews at Radio Row. Make sure you guys go check them all out. We have some really good ones. We have Adam Devine and Blake Anderson. We had the Hurt Syndicate. We had we talked to Cooper DeJean. We talked to everybody. We spoke to Lorenzo Neal. How fake he is. We spoke to
I like how you just pulled up to him. He's like, wait, what? The interview's just starting?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That was one of my favorite interviews, honestly.
Yeah.
We spoke to a lot of different people. Make sure you guys check them all out. It was honestly a fun week. A lot different because we did not have a table at Radio Row, so we did a lot of different things. It was a lot of fun. Definitely appreciate Vic, Dan, and Graham for.
I was gonna say I want to give a big shout out to Graham. We need to make sure that we talk, and we also give a shout out to him because he was great. He was the one behind the camera doing all those, making sure that Fernando was on his toes. So shout out to Graham.
Warrior.
I think he said his arm size got bigger because he had to carry that. One of those, he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Can you hold the camera? I'm like, for sure. I held it. I was like, damn, this is actually pretty heavy. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
dude, his backpack. He gave me his backpack in one of those. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be fine. All of a sudden, it was like carrying rocks, dude. I was like, my god.
Yeah, he had like a boulder in his back.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, Graham definitely killed it, and it was so funny, Vic, because on Friday, he was like, hey, so like, because Friday he didn't stay with us. He went back to, he went with his, to go see his girlfriend or whatever. But he's like, I mean, hopefully I did a good enough job for me to be invited next year. I was like, oh, dude, I was like, you killed it. I was like, you have an open invitation. So he was awesome. He did a really good job with our team, and obviously just can't say enough about the team and the group that we had out there. And just have to speak to one individual about he contributed 0 to the group, and I spoke to him out there. No, you know who
I know who you're talking about. I'm not stupid. I know who you're talking about. Got to talk to that guy. What's his deal? He gets credited and then he wants to just take off and do whatever. Some show on the radio? No thanks, dude.
I love that guy. That guy's funny.
Oh, he's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, but again, thank you to everybody who has checked out the videos. Thank you to Vic, to Dan, to Graham. And yeah, we'll be back in about 2 weeks. So make sure you guys hit the notification button. And again, appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much. And we'll be out of here for a while. Dan, why don't you get us out of here?
Be a Compa, tell a Compa. Thank God the Chiefs are done. Ring the freaking bell. Scream it to the heavens. Absolutely amazing. Have a great 2 weeks. Be a Compa, tell a Compa.